'82, I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years alive. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, Johnny!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Johnny, hey! Oh, yeah!
Did the guitar face.
Ibuprofen's under buy again in my online shopping cart. Every week I learn of something else I should be doing for my heart. If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed. My hair grows in my ears and nose now more than on my head. As a kid, to me, ancient history was something like World War I. But I arrived close to that time and this year as I sing this song. And I'm starting to find I can rap.
Investment consultant.
Joe, rolling.
Josh. No, we're going to start that over.
Cool.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1558, June 6, 2025. 97 degrees, the record high on this day. That was in 2011. And it was 36 degrees on the morning of this day in 1897. Call Josh at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
We have a listener out in Western Maryland. She wrote us yesterday, and somehow the population of Maryland came up.
Oh, God.
And my mind flared briefly that Chris was saying something wrong, but it's my fault. I didn't do anything about it.
Here's today's Reavers.
So I believe you said, what did you say? That
I basically said that the state of Maryland had roughly the same population size as Ramsey County.
Well, that was completely wrong.
Right.
The population of Ramsey County is 542,000. The population of Baltimore is 565,000. The population of Minnesota is 5.793 million and declining every day, by the way. And the population of Maryland is 6.263 million. So, I don't know, Chris. a lot of times what we've done is we've prevented ourselves from discussing anything like this, any math at all, and I'm afraid you're going to have to include yourself in that.
I'm going to have to.
And you're a numbers guy.
This was a foolish mistake, and we're all guilty because we didn't stop you.
I didn't even realize it.
I am extra guilty because I knew it was wrong. I chose not to say anything.
Thanks, Kenny. I appreciate you.
I find it very interesting that when the heat got on, you dug yourself a hole.
So you
That's what
silenced
friends
yourself.
do, Chris.
Yep.
That's what friends do.
Nah, let him go. He's rolling.
Yep.
It's kind of like when you do rural talk. We just let you
As soon
roll.
as Joe starts talking about cows, you turn the mic off and sit back and enjoy.
Enjoy the ride.
The city of Minneapolis, at least insofar as it is governed politically, is revealing its true self more clearly than ever in response to the raid on Lake Street on Tuesday. The Minneapolis City Council has now voted unanimously to have the city auditor review the police department's involvement in a federal raid on a Mexican restaurant Tuesday. That sparked protests in South Minneapolis. O'Hara said the police department was not involved in the raid. They were executing traffic control. In the city of Minneapolis, it is illegal for the Minneapolis Police Department to aid the immigration enforcement authorities because Minneapolis is a sanctuary city. It exists now in defiance of any federal orders. So now the feds come to town and they're focusing on a Mexican restaurant for what they insist was not an immigration situation. It was a drug and sex trafficking situation. That's not good enough for the Minneapolis City Council. They want their own review of this.
Jesus.
Which is essentially suggesting to the federal government that no federal law enforcement activity can exist in the town of Minneapolis unless we approve of it. And given that they're all predisposed to be anti-police anyway, the feds will have a hard go in Minneapolis. The local leaders have tried to tell the council that this had nothing to do with immigration enforcement. But local activists in a press conference outside Mayor Fry's office yesterday said that doesn't matter. That's important to know. They said that doesn't matter because technically it was not an immigration raid. The public should not. I just tore this silly piece of paper. I got to put it back together. They are saying that because technically it was not an immigration raid, the public should not worry about several units of ICE agents with assault rifles storming into immigrant communities, said Vash, somebody just named Vash, with Minnesota Immigration Rights Action Committee. The mayor's office, of course, says it welcomes the request to review what happened. Now I'll move on to the American Experiment version of this story. The protest at the scene of a joint law enforcement operation on East Lake Street in Bloomington was the most recent event to illustrate the point that law enforcement leaders are reaping the results of years of leadership that has tried to appease the activist voices in Minnesota. It hasn't worked because I don't think there's any appeasing people who want no law enforcement. What could possibly please them except the absence of law enforcement? I don't think that's hyperbole.
I drove by the church on Ford Parkway today that's been torn down.
I'm unaware of it.
Right across from 740 River Drive.
Oh, yeah.
And the sign is kind of beat up right now, but there was just yesterday, abolish police.
Okay. The activists have worked for years to demonize immigration enforcement. This work has led our leaders to incrementally fold on the issue and in many cases come out in support of the activist message that any immigration enforcement is unjust. Leaders over the years have worked to figuratively paint themselves into a corner. Once Minneapolis and Hennepin County adopted various sanctuary policies, The activists effectively seized control of the issue and have done nothing but strengthen their position ever since. This is why I want you to continue to get Jason Chavez as a guest. He is going to be quoted here in a moment.
Just to let you know, we have reached. In fact, we had an emailer that found a different email address for us. We've reached out several times.
Well,
to
you
Jason.
haven't shown me any initiative. If it means going over to his office, that's what I want you to do. I want you to find the guy and get him in here. Why? I could be anybody. I've just chosen him. We'll settle. I'll settle for everybody except Mike Rainville, because he seems to have some semblance of rationality.
Boy, I don't like defending Reavers. Sorry, Chris. But we're going to have to accept there's no way in hell they're going to come on this show. They're just not going to do it.
In their absence, it is left to me to attempt to divine what it is they want.
And that's why they end up losing and why it would be beneficial for them to come on this program.
Mm-hmm. I'm not done with these wrap-ups, and then I'll tell you what I think they want. In other words, the feds come to town, and the usual gang of naysayers said, get the hell out of town.
Right.
That's what it boils down to. And the Minneapolis Council wants to investigate. Forget your buckled sidewalk or your street light stripped of lighting. We're here because we're trying to bring about a different world. I'm going to tell you what that world is in a moment.
What is it? Oh, okay.
Council members say they are asking for this review in response to community concern. I'm not so sure it's community concern. By community, I think they mean the people who they believe they represent. Small constituencies, in my estimation, of activists. They're calling for a review in response to community concern. No, they're calling a review in response to their activist movement. The lady out watering her garden over by Lake of the Isles or Lake Nokomis or whatever, she didn't call for a review. The activists have called for a review. All right, let me continue to try to wrap this up. The law enforcement said this raid Tuesday focused solely on drugs and human trafficking, and that MPD came for crowd control. But the activists and elected officials don't accept that explanation. We know that ICE was present in our community regardless of gaslighting that the city officials are saying, said Councilmember Jason Chavez. We need to know why there was ICE in our community and why our police department was assisting with crowd control. Because ICE, by law, ordinance, is not allowed in Minneapolis, with the blessing of the mayor and the city council. This is who runs Minneapolis. Imran Ali, general counsel for the Minneapolis Police and Peace Officers Association, said elected officials are doing more harm than good. Well, of course they are. What was troubling is a lot of activists getting misinformation from elected leaders that fueled the fire.
Yep.
In the middle of controversy, a community member and business owner, Daniel Hernandez, is stepping up, hoping to bridge the gap in his community by inviting Mayor Fry to Lake in Bloomington so community members can hear from him directly. For me, the main point was to reassure our people, Hernandez said. People are relieved to know the mayor himself came to the heart of the Latino community to talk to our people. At least one person has been charged in the clash. Okay, now there's a Latino community, and there's a Somali community. Is there one more here? That's kind of the wrap-up. The controversy stems from the belief by activists that evil Trump sent feds here in an immigration control enforcement operation.
Right.
The people who arrived said that's not why we're here. We're here for a sex trafficking and drug enforcement operation. Maybe that'll shake out differently. They are going to have a review. But based on what we know now, ICE was not here in an immigration enforcement. They are not allowed here. What do Chavez and his comrades want? What does the activist left want? They want to replace the America we know. I want to continue with this. Are we in agreement on that, or is that hyperbole?
No, you're right.
Okay, they want to replace the America we know. What would they replace it with? Anybody want to take a stab at that?
Rampant crime and murder and rape and every horrible thing you can dream of.
Kenny, you're spot on. But what would they expect? Would they expect all citizens to self-police themselves?
Right.
Or would they be looting every speedway?
I don't think they want rampant rape and drug use and crime. I do, however, think those things would be the result of what they want.
Absolutely.
What they want is a new, in my estimation, a new absence of American culture. That there would be no such thing as an American culture. There would be a mix of cultures. Oh, there would be a Somali culture. There would be a Hmong culture. There would be a Latino culture. There would be an East Asian island culture. Whatever you want, you come in. This country was unfair from the beginning, so we're reopening it. We're reestablishing it. You just be whatever you want to be. We'll administer it from an administrative state, which they can do until they run out of other people's money. And then I don't know where we are. But they do not have an America that we might understand at heart. They want to replace American culture with a variety of cultures that are not held together by any single hardened truth.
Where in the world, the entire globe, has this happened and been successful?
Never happened anywhere in the world where it's successful.
Right.
But as long as you won't come in here and talk to me, Chugati and Chavez and Walmsley and the rest of you, I'll speak for you. That's what you want. You have no interest in the woman tending her garden over by Lake Hiawatha.
Or the woman that was making a painting and was shot and killed. Mm-hmm. That was just literally sitting there.
You want a society of fractured cultures. You want a society of various communities, each doing their own thing, each ungoverned, essentially, except by one central administrative estate, which I imagine you would run. And it would be anything goes. Now, you vision that as just corners full of beautiful Mexican music or Somali dance or soccer games played by the Hmong. I hate to bring in the Hmong. They've been law-abiding people, welcome people. But my point is that you also don't imagine that any of that would be governed by a law enforcement. The law enforcement itself is oppressive. It victimizes. It establishes rules. Law enforcement is an affectation left over from the unair-conditioned hotel room in Philadelphia in 1776. You don't want it. You don't trust it. You don't believe in it. That's who's running Minneapolis. That's essentially who's running St. Paul. And that's what essentially is running the state of Minnesota.
Do you suppose that they believe in their hearts that their intentions are pure?
Yes.
How can they not see evidence otherwise?
They're not bright people. They are, in many cases, trained in the failed academy. They have had no life experience other than to be immersed in this ideology.
What amount of crime, percentage-wise, I don't know if you could nail it down to a percentage, what amount of crime would be too much, where they would say, okay, this experiment is not working. We need to dial it back. We need more police. We need to go back to the way we were. What amount?
I'll take a pass, yes.
Kenny, the city freaking burned for days.
And that wasn't
days
enough.
And days.
That wasn't
and
enough.
That wasn't enough 5 years ago.
Not only was that not enough,
We doubled down.
that was what was preferred.
Yeah. I could smell the burning tires from the governor's wife.
I couldn't get a tank of gas in South Minneapolis because almost every gas station I frequented was shut down. I had to go to Roseville to get gas.
That's what was preferred. Not only was that not enough, that was an acceptable expression of what they're up to.
Actually, I started using that gas station over on Marshall, just
Kenny,
across the bridge.
Not to speak for you, you asked the question about self-policing.
Yeah.
You had to sit on your deck, armed.
You know, and that I thought that was going to be a Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal thing. It wasn't. There were just as many what I would call left-leaning neighbors out protecting our neighborhoods as there were conservative.
It's like we're a third world
The
country.
conservatives, we had firearms, and bless their hearts, the liberals had brooms and hockey sticks. They had whatever they. But no, but, you know,
right.
The goal was the same.
The country is, there's 80%, Mark Cuban has alluded to this. There's about 80% of us in the United States who would like to live reasonable lives with laws and regulations and expectations and achievements and raise the flag on Memorial Day and lead normal lives. But 10% on the right are insane and 10% on the left are insane.
And they're controlling the parties.
And the insane people are controlling the party in both instances.
I also think, Joe, you hinted at something. Well, you didn't hint. You actually said it. I've noticed in my Facebook page, which is the only social media I have, and I have friends who are lefties. I have friends who are righties. A lot of this is just based on the fact that Donald Trump is involved with some of these people. So when ICE comes in, they immediately go, there's Trump and his damn policies again.
Right.
And that's basically everything. And you guys know my politics, so
right. But John, you're so right, especially with this thing that happened in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
If it's law enforcement, if it's federal law enforcement, it must be ICE. If it's ICE, it must be Trump.
Boom. And that's what it's come down to in all these posts I see, and also a lot of what the officials have said, the Keith Ellisons, that's basically what they're saying.
I agree absolutely, but I'm not so sure it would have been different Tuesday no matter who the president was and ICE showed up. These are people who are aligned carefully and purposefully to be opposed to law enforcement. Because law enforcement interrupts their long game, which is the establishment of communities that don't have to answer to anybody.
But they would be lumped in the 10%.
Yeah, and I think you're correct in the maybe some of the leaders, et cetera, but the people I'm talking about on Facebook, they're not radical, No,
I know.
We want to do away with the U.S. They're radical anti-Trumpers. So,
well, John, you mentioned that we know your politics. We do, but I include you in the 80%.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, this is ridiculous, the reaction to this.
Here, I've got to get this quote in because I didn't hear you mention it, Joe. And it's from Ellison, a Minneapolis City Council member, referred to the law enforcement responders as cowards and faux military clowns.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
from a council member.
I think that's worth noting, coming from somebody that reportedly is responsible for running that town.
The council that represents the taxpayers of Minneapolis has no interest in law enforcement. We have audio from what our mayor might think of this that will
Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen.
that will play when we return.
But first, you know what? Let's lighten the mood, shall we, on this positive Friday?
Is it possible? Is it possible?
Why don't I talk about my friends at North American Banking Company who rely on one simple philosophy, and it's common sense based, believe it or not. It's banking done differently, and you get that feeling anytime that you walk into any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations, whether it's 50th and France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, Maple Grove. And the thing is about North American Banking Company is they want to take care of you, your family, and in some cases, your business. That's the way they do things, and it's fantastic. I've made the switch. I was tired of just being a number to my big national bank, and so I decided to make the switch to North American Banking Company, and I think you'll be happy if you do as well. And it doesn't matter whether you're thinking about buying a home, maybe finance a new home renovation project, or get that new car that you've been dreaming about. They'll be able to help you out. And they offer the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but the key difference is you're going to get the unparalleled service of a community bank. And when they first opened back in 1998, they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers where you know your banker and they know you. So you business owners, yes, you'll be able to solve problems quickly and expand your business with confidence if you decide to take your banking to North American Banking Company. So your first step can be checking them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. Once again, it's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
If you want the best lawn on the block, you've got to go with our guys, ProfessionalTurf.com. They've been at it since '82. If you've already gone with the company that we at GL use, I know what you said about 3 weeks after they showed up. You said, why didn't I do this so many years ago? This is amazing. And that's how it is with ProfessionalTurf.com. First of all, you click on that link. They're going to send out an experienced lawn care tech. He's going to look your situation over, come up with a plan made just for you. And it's an environmentally safe plan. Don't worry about that. And is absolutely 100% guaranteed for superior results. No more weeds, no more broadleaf weeds, no more dandelions, just a thick, luscious carpet of green. They throw in some fertilizer there, so you're going to have to do a lot of mowing. And if you do want superior results, you should water from time to time. That brings me to their irrigation service. ProTurf also services irrigation. Irrigation.
It's a big word.
Yeah, they're not going to put it in for you, but they are going to fix what's wrong with it. They'll wake it up in the spring. They'll replace the heads. They'll find the leaks. They'll take care of all of that, and then they'll put it to bed for you in the fall. And if you want to go a step further, have them look your situation over. Maybe you need a little landscaping work. Maybe you'd like to improve the curb appeal, force your equity up. ProTurf can help you with that. There's nothing they can't do landscape related. They do it all. And they do it well, and we at GL have been using them for years. Click on the link, professionalturf.com.
In response to the Trump edict that travel is now banned to certain countries, one of which is Somalia, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Fry, chose to address this. Was this yesterday?
It was posted yesterday at 2:59 p.m. on his Twitter account.
And here is the mayor of Minneapolis.
Maaga Egawa Jacob Fry, Doke Magalada, Minneapolis. Damaan, Sha'abka Somaliyed, Ka Yamid, Mogadishu, Garowe, Hargeisa, Bosaso, Bedabo, Kismayo, Wahan Rabah, In An Idin Shego. Minneapolis, Wa Magaladina, Wahad Kamid Tihin, Laf Dabarka. Magaladan Ka Digesa, Boshado, Isku, Duban. Si Kasta U Madewen, Donald Trump U Su Rugo, Sharki. Minneapolis, Wa Magalo Garnesa, Wanaga, Iyo Kemaha. Ad Ledehin. Ugo Danbenti, Wahan Idin, Leahe, Eid Wanaxen, Eid Mubarak. Damantin, Wahana Idin, Rejeneya, Inad Wati, Fian, La Kadatan Dadkina, Ad J. Shahin. My name is Jacob Fry, Mayor of Minneapolis, and I want to speak directly to the Somali community. Whether you come from Mogadishu, Garowe, Hargeisa, Bosaso, Medoa, or Kismayo, Minneapolis is your city. You are a vital part of the fabric that makes our city strong, diverse, and united. No matter what policies may be introduced by President Donald Trump, Minneapolis stands with you and values who you are and what you bring to our city. I wish you all Eid Mubarak, and I hope you have a wonderful time with your loved ones. Donald Trump's justification for the travel ban hinges on one Egyptian national who allowed his hatred for Netanyahu's actions to spill over into violence against innocent Jewish people in Colorado. That logic is dangerous. Holding entire nations accountable for the actions of a few individuals is the very same fallacy. Here in Minneapolis, people of every background have broken the law, and when they do, we hold them accountable as individuals. That's how justice works. Cutting off an entire diaspora from its roots doesn't keep anyone safe. It only deepens division at a time when connection is more important than ever. The bond between Somalia and Minneapolis is long-standing and it's deep. We will not let Donald Trump's bans alienate our Somali residents, our neighbors, and friends whom we love.
Well, so far, Somalis have stolen about $1 billion in state fraud.
Yeah. We had one shoot up a high school graduation less than a week ago.
That was a speech that displayed all of the aspects of postmodernism, that any culture is just as valid as any other. That's part of what drives the mystery, is postmodernist thought. The failed academy has done a wonderful job in demeaning the United States and demeaning America. And here is the mayor of Minneapolis, is a white shoes lawyer from Virginia who figured he could come out here and get a gig. And he is attributing to the Somalis among us, many of whom are wonderful, contributing citizens, many of whom aren't, the same attributes as he would attribute to any culture in the world. I personally would take American culture over Somali culture. I personally would choose to live in an American city more than Mogadishu.
Yep.
That's just me, you know. I don't know where to take that. He must have practiced that a long time.
The problem too is
that's
when
not
you
French.
watch the video, obviously you can clearly see that he's reading cue cards, which
course.
it's a different language. So
We'd
you would
all
think-
have to.
We would all have to. But the line where he included Netanyahu's actions and whatever, keep in mind, Fry's Jewish.
Well, he didn't rip the Jews.
But what I'm saying is the reaction from the president. My point is, the Somalian culture, the Somalian community, isn't coming here to assimilate to the American way of life. They're trying to inflict their views on the rest of us, and I'm tired of the fact that we have to bend over backwards.
Stop. You're echoing what I said in my soliloquy, that what we want here is a group of cultures, each almost independent of each other, governed by an administrative state, and anything goes. The Somalis, through the view of Mysterians, are not expected to assimilate.
No, there's a different set of rules.
The
yeah.
Latinos are not expected to assimilate, although many would want to. Any group that comes to Minneapolis and is governed by this city council is not accepted to assimilate. In fact, great care will be taken to aid and abet them in their refusal to assimilate, in their disdain for assimilation. They want no part of assimilation. Here's a story. We have the Minnesota chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR, C-A-I-R. They released a statement yesterday expressing deep concern and disappointment at Burnsville and Hopkins high schools because they're holding their graduation ceremonies today, the same day as Eid al-Adha. We were supposed to stop and honor Eid al-Adha. Okay. Jelani Hussein, executive director of CARE, called the decisions by these schools an equity and inclusion failure. I personally am tired of that BS. Not much I can do about it except point it out. Go bleep yourself, Jelani. We can't keep shifting the whole calendar around to accommodate the Somali culture.
Right.
Because then that happened a year ago as well, right?
Other Minnesota school districts, even those with smaller Somali and Muslim populations, have proactively adjusted dates to ensure all families can fully participate in both their religious observances and school milestones, Hussein said. By refusing to do so, Burnsville and Hopkins send an unfortunate message that Muslim families are less valued and less worthy of accommodation. I don't believe that. I don't believe that the Mysterians who run Burnsville, see, they're all of a piece, too. They're all in the same pot together because the schools are as effed up as anything else. But I don't believe the people who run the Burnsville schools and the Hopkins schools purposely decided to have graduations on Eid al-Adha to be insulting of Somali students. Right. I don't believe that. They got crowded school calendars. They both have giant graduating classes with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of parents and family members who want to attend. And they got to pick a date. They got to find a venue, and they got to do it. The Somalis wish to be the ones who determine when the graduation should be. Well, sorry.
It's not how it works.
I rarely see... I've never seen a less humble group of people.
That's well put.
They arrive with instantaneous demands. They expect them to be fulfilled. In the meantime, there is a faction of Somali culture that has figured out how to steal $1 billion from the Minnesota taxpayer. I never hear the likes of Jalali Hussein saying, I find that abhorrent and it's dreadful and I'm embarrassed by my own people. Right. Never heard anything like that. I've never met a less humble group of people and a more entitled group of people than our Somalian friends, many of whom are great friends. but you got too many rotten eggs in your barrel.
Huh?
Or whatever that rotten, it's apples.
That's right.
Apples,
yeah.
You got your rotten apples in the barrel, and it's too bad that the graduation is tonight. They weren't able to appease you.
But the thing you get to, the feeling you get, at least this is for me, there's always something, right? There's always got to be an issue raised on behalf of this select group of people.
Here's resting my case. A Hopkins school spokesperson said, look, we tried to reschedule the ceremony and bring it to 3M Arena at Mariucci, but the U of M could not accommodate a change on such short notice. Well, it was short notice because with great justification, does the Burnsville school have to plan their graduation around the 52 Somali kids who are graduating or whatever it is?
It's actually probably more than that. But still, I agree with you completely.
Hopkins has a strong record of honoring significant holidays in our calendar, planning, including those observed by our Muslim and Jewish communities. This year's conflict is a rare and unfortunate occurrence, and we remain committed to ensuring our future planning reflects the needs of all students and families. Why don't you thank that person, Jalali, Halani, Hussein? I've never met a more demanding, less humbled people than the Somalis. They want to run the show, baby. This is their town. I didn't sign up for that.
Nope.
I signed up to be your friend and neighbor, and we're all stopping at red lights. We're all paying our taxes. We all observe, I observe American holidays. I don't observe Eid al-Adha. Is this the same as Fidr?
Fidr was earlier.
Okay.
Earlier in the year.
That's where the tailors get together.
Yes, yeah, that's where the tailors are.
Eid says Eid al-Fidr. I got this one. Yeah.
The door opens, the bell rings. I got
So that's too bad. Burnsville and Hopkins are graduating tonight. Why don't you attend and shut up about it? This is ridiculous. This is just absolutely ridiculous. And the weeping, it was all America could do to not weep while he struggled through his Somalian testimonial. Go bleep yourself, Fry. Told you 6 months ago what this country needs is one giant go bleep yourself.
I was going to say there's been a lot of go bleep yourselves in today's show.
Well, there's got to be one giant person where you can say, go bleep yourself.
Johnny, I said this to Joe earlier. In the Twin Cities, or I guess the state of Minnesota, we're about the only outlet that's going to even have this kind of a conversation.
What a bunch of BS.
Joe, I really appreciate you inviting me over to spend the weekend at your house. I just want you to know when I get there, we're going to pull all the furniture out of your office. I'm going to repaint that son of a bitch. The ceiling is going to be black. I'm going to get rid of that gross carpet and throw down some throw rugs. And we're going to turn
this is what you're making for dinner?
Turn the air AC off and probably turn the heat on because I like it a good 90 degrees when I go to bed. And I hope you appreciate this and support me while I remodel your house for my weekend visit.
Yeah.
Kenny's spot on.
Not far off the mark here.
Right. Well, it's just
God almighty. Stop with this BS.
accommodations.
But it fits the template of what the end game is. The postmodern belief that every culture is as at least important as American culture, which we, Mysterians, have found flawed and in need of replacing. And we intend to replace it by all cultures enjoying the fact that we have running water and toilets that flush and farms that produce food. We don't know how long that will last under our plan, but while it lasts, there is no one culture that's better than any other, and there is absolutely no reason to honor the affectations of American culture when the affectations of Somali culture and Latino culture and whatever other country you want to say, those are just as important in America. They are on an equal footing. That's equity, and we practice equity, even if we assign it whimsically and arbitrarily. We don't have to earn equity. It should be granted as a right of human existence.
Should be thus.
And it's criminal that the people who run Burnsville and Hopkins high schools aren't on board yet to realize that. Even though they hustled their ass off and drove all over town, petrified that they were stepping on Somali toes by having the bleeping graduation tonight, they couldn't get another building in time, Hussein.
By the way, my alarm goes off at 3 in the morning. I expect breakfast to be served at 3:30, and you will accommodate my wishes.
I better.
Yeah.
Or you're an Islamophobe.
That's right.
And you owe me $1,000 as soon as I show up.
Why don't you just steal it from me? I won't know about it until about a month or two.
I'm also going to steal it from you, but I was hoping I didn't have to actually tell you that.
Honest to God, what a bleep show we live in here. This is ridiculous.
Isn't it fun?
It's absolutely ridiculous. We hate cops. We hate America. We don't want law enforcement.
What I've discovered, and I think Reavers can back me up, the smaller the town, the population, the more the willingness to go, bleep you.
Yep.
You get up into cities like Wilmer, St. Cloud, Duluth.
They're full of Mysterians.
They're full of Mysterians, correct. But smaller than that, they're willing to tell you to go, take a hike.
That ain't going to fly, brother.
But how long is that going to last?
Is Fry going to put on his mom jeans and go dance with some Eid al-Fitr celebration tonight?
Most likely.
No, his
Eid
parents
al-Harder,
were-
Eid, which one is this? Eid something. A
not
lot of
Eid-
Eids. They got a
Eid-
lot of Eids.
Eid Adar.
Yeah, they got a lot of Eids.
His mom and dad were ballet dancers, so he might. Yeah, that's
The
what
only
it
one
says.
we subscribed to in college, especially, was I Doer. That's the only one we did.
I never heard of that one.
It's a different. I'll show you during the break.
I'm very puzzled by that.
during the school year.
Champlain Park, by the way, we'll probably get into this, and then
They won 6-0.
hopefully be the last time. I keep
I have an
promising.
eyewitness report.
I keep promising. Is Pat there?
He will join us today. He did get back to me.
He had a great text. He had a physical yesterday, and he texted me last night, and he said, I had a physical today, and the fluid results aren't in, but the electrocardiogram was spectacular. Thanks, Mom and Dad, whoever the heck you were.
Or words to that effect, anyway.
Yeah.
Because Pat's adopted. So.
Right.
Well, let's
Step aside.
I texted back. You got a bit of Keith Richards, did you? He just keeps going. He's fine. He's great. Anyway, yeah, Champlain Park won 6-0. Marissa, he threw a shutout, 6-0, I guess. Although the other team got a couple hits, I understand. Apparently not enough to drive in some runs. I still like the idea that Bloomington Jefferson should have been allowed to have a guy.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
bearded one.
We have some things to say about that. But you know what I bet we're going to do first? A little Johnny Hyde news.
Chris is
Yeah, we're just going to fly, John. What the hell?
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
I'm going to spring one on you. None of you guys knew this was coming, and I'm really happy, and I'm really excited with this new client we have, and I'm addressing lake house owners, new owners of lake property, long frustrated lake shore owners. We've got a brand new product designed and built by a GLer from Fergus Falls for pulling lake weeds up. Now, Tim moved to the lake and discovered he had a weed issue. And being a GLer, what did he do? He went right to the garage to figure it out. And boy, figure it out he did. He created a tool for pulling lake weeds from the shore. He calls it a T-weeder. Now, it's very unique. It's a rake-type looking tool made up of lightweight aluminum. Yeah, you guys are watching a video right now. It utilizes 2-3 foot wide plates, so they have teeth, and you throw this thing. He's got 25 feet of rope attached to it. He throws it way out in the lake.
I get it.
Sinks down to the bottom, and he pulls it in. And when he pulls it in with these quick, sharp tugs, it fills up with weeds.
Look at that.
Yeah.
He'll probably
these
get
are
a
the kind
boot
of
or a
weeds.
tire every once in a while, huh?
or a mafia guy.
Yeah.
It's for the kind of weeds that are easy to pull up. Tim says it might not work so great with cattails or reeds or other ones that lily pads that have strong root systems. But it removes any aquatic leaves that a person could easily pull up. Now, I know what you're thinking. The DNR actually allows for the removal of up to 2,500 square feet of submerged weeds without a permit. You can do that. Me, as a person who has, my parents have places on lakes, please let those weeds dry out on your beach and then burn them. Don't float them away, okay? Don't do that. We don't like that. You want to get a hold of one of these things, go online. And I can give you the email address or the online address. All you have to do is Google T-weeder, but it's T-weeder. That's just the letter T, tweedertool.com. And you're going to find more information and testimonials and everything you need. Get to that website, check it out, and then get yourself one. You'll get immediate results and start enjoying your lake shore immediately. Again, tweedertool.com.
Okay.
You should have seen the mayor's face, Kenny.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, I know.
I know you're gonna get one.
I'm a crunchy conservative, and I mean this in all seriousness. Is there something that can be done with the weeds would they make good fodder for the garden if you let them dry and grind them up? Or?
I don't know the answer to that. All I know is that every new homeowner comes on, and the first thing they do is go out in the lake and they start cutting weeds, and then they float them away.
I hate that. That just follows your prop and sailboats.
And it ends up on somebody else's property.
Yeah, leave the stuff on your own shore.
So use the T-weeder tool. Just let them sit there on the beach a few days. They dry out, and put a match to them.
Okay, the next invention is somebody's going to dream up something really useful to do with the weeds.
Yeah. You could make a weave, weave them together.
Basket. What, like floor mats?
Yeah, like a nice basket.
Here's John Height.
If you're going to think along those lines, we use grass clippings in our garden to control the weeds. So we don't have to pull weeds. We just put down the grass clippings. So maybe think along those lines.
Yeah. I already have I will oppose what I just said. You're not going to get one. The kid you used to have is going to buy one to put you to work and say, just get him out of here. Let him go to the beach.
20 yards.
No, the kid I used to have is going to get one as a gift from me, but I'm not using it.
Oh, I see.
He will.
And here's how you get the kids involved. You go, I bet I can throw it out further than you.
Yes.
Yes. Genius.
Now it's a competition.
Yeah, con job for
Kenny,
the kids.
I might get one and just go to people's beaches.
Yeah, can I clean your beach? This news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. Governor Walz, this just breaking, has called the Minnesota legislature into a special session on Monday in order to finish work on passing a biennial budget and avoid a government shutdown. The governor announcing the session late this morning, saying it'll begin at 10 in the morning. According to the document of the special session agreement between caucus leaders, lawmakers will be limited to working on the remainder of the budget and the bills centered around modifying Minnesota care for undocumented adults, regulating data centers, education policy, transportation finance, and more. All bills must be assiduously finalized ahead of time.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
John.
And legislative leaders will be told not to support any further amendments. Per the terms of the special session, the legislature must adjourn by 7 in the morning on Tuesday. So they have about, 20, not quite 20 hours, 20 hours.
Flip Wilson, see you Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right.
Dozens of people this hour are currently searching inside the Elk River landfill as part of an ongoing effort to find missing Columbia Heights teen Jordan Manny Collins, according to the Anoka County Sheriff's Office. Video shot by Chopper 5 late this morning showed dozens of people, some of them in hazmat suits, combing through items. The Sheriff's Office says members of the FBI, BCA, as well as the Columbia Heights Police Department are helping their agency with the search at the landfill. There were also multiple tents set up inside and heavy equipment sifting through items, as well as a trailer with the words Region 6 Metro and Twin Cities Urban Area on it. The 16-year-old was last seen on May 8th.
John, what clues led them to the landfill?
They're not saying, and all of this is just breaking. In fact, it was just put on websites about a half hour ago.
Oh, that's so sad.
That's really
they've been
sad.
looking for that kid for a while now.
Another breaking story, a chemical spill at a food product supplier in Cold Spring has caused more than 24 people to be hospitalized, according to police. According to police in Cold Spring, a spill of peracetic acid, which is used as a disinfectant and sanitizer, sent 26 people at Pilgrim's Chicken to the hospital around 8:15 this morning. Centracare Hospital in St. Cloud confirmed they had received multiple patients in connection with the spill. Decontamination efforts are currently being conducted by the hazmat crew, and the building has been evacuated. While the spill itself was contained to the inside of the building, the exact cause of the spill has not been provided as of right now.
You know where Cold Spring is, Rook?
Yeah.
Up near St. Cloud.
Yeah, up by St. Cloud. Stone's throw away.
Yeah.
What do they say? Even a dead clock
is right twice a day.
Yeah. Or you swing a dead cat far enough, you'll eventually hit a barn.
That's right.
Something like that. I don't know.
5 members of the Highs gang in Minneapolis were convicted at trial on a variety of federal charges, according to acting U.S. Attorney Joseph Thompson. The Highs are a prominent Minneapolis street gang that carries out gang-related murders, shootings, and the distribution of narcotics. 4 men, 24-year-old Tyrese Giles, 29-year-old Trevon Robinson, 35-year-old William Banks, and 35-year-old Gregory Brown, all convicted of federal RICO conspiracy. At trial, it was proven the men were members of various subsets of the Highs, as well as part of their Highs membership. The men were expected to retaliate against the rival Lowe's gang.
Is that an annual membership that you need to renew?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you're up at June 13th.
Depends if you want the magazine or not.
Got to go kill a guy if you want to stay involved.
Exactly. In fact, Kenny, funny you should mention that, Giles was also convicted of committing a murder for the gang. In addition, 31-year-old Josiah Taylor, was convicted of conspiring to distribute controlled substances and possessing a firearm. This is the second of several trials which charged over 40 people with RICO conspiracy, narcotics trafficking, firearms offenses, and other charges related to gang activities. The third Highs RICO trial begins on Monday. Pioneer Press reporting 4 candidates have now filed to run in the special election this August for the Ward 4 seat on the St. Paul City Council. Ward 4 covers part of all of 5 neighborhoods: Hamlin Midway, Miriam Park, St. Anthony Park, and parts of McAllister, Groveland, and Como. The candidates include, I believe this is your old friend, Joe, Chantil Allen.
A very unaccomplished activist who has never done anything except foment a racial issue to make life miserable for a waitress in a Japanese restaurant.
Yep. She right now is serving on the board of the St. Paul Board of Education.
Not qualified.
Other people who are going to run: Molly Coleman, the founder of the nonprofit People's Parity Project.
Family business, never worked, probably got a Harvard law degree, but the Colemans have made politics a St. Paul family business.
Cole Hansen, a statewide online education coordinator who teaches nutrition to recipients of federal food assistance, or SNAP. And the fourth, Carolyn Will, founder of CW Marketing and Communications.
Actually has a job, a house, a family, kids, the whole deal. Makes the most sense. Good luck to her.
The nonpartisan election takes place August 12th by ranked choice. That means voters will be allowed to rank their candidates in order of preference. There will not be a political primary. The winner will fill the seat vacated in March by former council member Mitra Jalali and serve through the November 2028 election. Matt Pravatsky was recently appointed by the mayor to fill the Ward 4 seat on an interim basis through the August election. Tuesday was the last day to file for the election. Candidates can withdraw their names from the ballot through Thursday. Chris, are we taking a break?
No, keep rolling, Johnny.
Going. Okay.
Yep.
National, international news. U.S. employers slowed hiring last month, but still added a solid 139,000 jobs amid uncertainty over President Trump's trade wars. Hiring fell from a revised 147,000 in April, according to the Department of Labor. The job gains last month were above the 130,000 that economists had forecast. Dominating the news and social media, a war of words between President Trump and his former bestie and number one guy in the White House, Elon Musk.
All I can think about is this scene in Animal House right here. Food fight!
This is so fun. I'm really enjoying this.
I am too.
Yeah. Musk, in the past few days, after we've told you about this already yesterday, I believe, after leaving Doge, has been lambasting Trump's large tax bill in Congress. That led to various comments being traded yesterday from both men. Trump, after hearing the criticism of the bill, countered with Musk had been wearing thin, in his words, that he had asked him to leave his administration and that the tech titan had, in his words, gone crazy. Musk tweeted back, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election." Musk used more than $250 million to boost Trump's run to the presidency. Musk also tweeting, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public." Minutes later, he followed up with, "Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out." And then Musk also called for President Trump's impeachment. Musk also threatened to decommission a space capsule used to take astronauts and supplies to the International Space Station. A few hours later, though, Musk said he wouldn't follow through on that threat. After President Trump had threatened to cut government contracts given to Musk's SpaceX rocket company and his Starlink internet satellite services, Musk responded that SpaceX will, quote, begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. Meanwhile, a Russian official said that nation could offer Musk political asylum over his fierce dispute with President Trump. Dmitry Novikov, first deputy chairman of the State Duma Committee on International Affairs, made the comments on TASS. He said, "I think Musk has a completely different game, so he will not need any political asylum, although if he did, Russia would, of course, provide it."
What are the people that plastered their Teslas with slogans? What are they going to do now that Musk is okay again? I've witnessed people who loathe Musk, but now he's okay. Now he's a good guy again.
You know what the problem here is with both of these guys? Neither one of these guys are guys, if you know what I'm saying. No. They don't adhere to, because they don't understand what the guy code is.
I wanted to believe that Trump's hopeless, but I wanted to believe that Musk was a guy, but he's a fruitcake.
Here's the guy code, if you don't understand. When Joe is finally sick of me, and God, I can't believe it hasn't happened yet, and he fires me, and somebody comes to me from the press, I'm not going to say all the really bad shit I know about Joe. You know what I mean? Wow. That's the guy code.
Right.
You don't do that.
You keep it in house.
There's nothing bad about me.
Well, of course there's nothing bad. I was just making this up, Joe.
It's like called a metaphor. It's like a...
You're not going to say he's a drug addict.
Right.
Or any of the other things that I know about you. I would never do that because it's the guy code. And when you break the guy code, karma has a way of coming back and kicking you in the swimsuit area.
These two guys don't have a guy code.
They don't even know it exists.
I don't think I'm doing it right, Kenny, because when listeners come up and ask me about you, I tell them every nasty thing I know about you. So I don't think I'm doing it right.
I probably deserve it.
I know you love it when I do this. Can I lay on you what I think the conspiracy theory is behind the conspiracy theory?
Why is
here?
there a
Conspiracy theory?
I think, here's what happened. When Elon took office, and as our dear Governor Walz pointed out so eloquently, the Tesla stock plummeted, correct? And I think Elon and all of the other really smart people bought up as much as they possibly could. And then Elon and Don got into this feud, which may or may not have a lot of legitimacy to it. And now he's going to walk away, and that stock is going to skyrocket. as a result of this.
Well, you're putting thought into this.
Yeah, that's not.
Let's
fair.
not do that on a Friday.
John, I bet I know what your next story is.
No, wait. We can't move on yet.
Go ahead, John. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, you're dealing with two guys, Chris, that you were giving way too much credit
But
to.
like him or not, Elon's a genius. Like him or not.
And he's a genius in the tech stuff.
That's what I'm saying. He's
not in life.
No, but I'm saying just from purely an investment standpoint, he's brilliant.
And people are already giving us grief over having glee about this fight. And it's just, for me, it's just two rich guys going at it. The only thing that could make it better is if Zuckerberg got involved or Bill Gates. If
slapping. A lot of slapping.
Just a big giant slap circle.
No, and Bezos should get in there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Jeff.
All of them. Just go at it, fellas.
Check your phones, everybody, right now.
I just did.
I have my exit sentence. That's what happens when I get fired.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Matthew. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
No, actually,
that keeps me here right now.
No, what you'll do is you'll have your dear friend Marjorie Johnson join you in that outgoing statement.
I think we better take a break.
Oh, my God.
No, I want John to do another story.
Veterans gathering today in Normandy. It's the 81st anniversary of the D-Day landings, a pivotal moment in World War II that led to the collapse of Adolf Hitler's regime. Along the coastline and near the D-Day landing beaches, tens of thousands of onlookers attended the commemorations, which included parachute jumps, flyovers, remembrance ceremonies, parades, and historical reenactments. Many were there to cheer the ever-dwindling number of surviving veterans in their late 90s and even older. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth commemorated the anniversary of the D-Day landings, in which American soldiers played a leading role, with veterans at the American Cemetery overlooking the shore in the village of, I should have Rook pronounce this, Colleyville-sur-Mer.
Well, how's it spelled? How's the sea? Sur-Mer, is like above the sea.
Oh, there you go. So Colleyville above the sea, basically, is what
4,500 died. 4,500 allies died. About 2,500 of whom were Americans. And I spent some time this morning trying to find out how many of the 2,500 were Minnesotans. There were, of course, Minnesotans who died in D-Day, but I cannot come up with a number.
The number I found weird, I know I saw that 45,000 number, but 73,000 in the entire Battle of Normandy. Only 4,500, though, on D-Day.
If you got off one of those slapped-together landing boats
I would have been crying
and lived, that was just the hand of God for some reason. You were going to live because I was reading that the vets who watched the opening scenes of Saving Private Ryan could not watch it. It was too realistic. It was too realistic.
Even if it was half of that, it was way too much. Yeah. Was it J.C. Higgins that built a lot of those boats?
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought. Out of wood, right?
Yes.
I did see an interview with a fellow who, I think he was 99 today, where he was the only person in his company that didn't get killed landing.
It was amazing.
And he said, grace of God, that's all it was. There was no other reasoning behind why he was alive.
I suppose people are saying, well, why did God pick that guy and not another guy? Because that's not the way it works.
And there was a great post I saw this morning, and I'm sure you've all have seen it as well. It just says it's that same scene. It says courage. It says bravery isn't mean you're scared. It means you go anyway or something like that. And you see all these guys in the water. And
well, they all had wheelbarrows.
Oh, for God's sakes, yes.
Yeah. The U.S. Supreme Court yesterday made it easier for employees from majority groups such as white or heterosexual workers to bring so-called reverse discrimination claims. Justices unanimously sided with Marlene Ames, a straight woman who says she was denied a promotion at the Ohio Department of Youth Services and later demoted due to her sexual orientation. The court tossed a lower court ruling requiring plaintiffs to show background circumstances that suggested bias and affirmed all Title VII claims must be judged by the same legal standards regardless of group status.
I think what I would have tried to do if I was on one of the Higgins boats was have a snorkel and then kind of sneak my way in underwater.
Just see that snorkel coming out like a...
but then the Germans probably would have seen the snorkel.
Hey, what's that?
Dude, I have never read anything that said the guys in those boats knew what they were facing.
I don't think they anticipated that it was just a wide open slaughter. They didn't. They didn't count on that.
Have you ever seen The Longest Day?
Sure.
where part of that D-Day scene, they're at a cliff, and they need the guys. Who are the guys that do the mining and stuff with those long poles? What are they called? Demolition experts, I guess. That's pretty damn amazing to me that they had the gumption and wherewithal, and they were calm enough to pull off what they did under such heavy fire.
In the meantime, you had guys jumping out of gliders.
Yeah.
You had parachutists landing in, somebody's tavern in a little village.
Yeah, and they overshot the landing, and the Germans had everything flooded, so all these fields had turned into swamps.
But imagine the guy in charge of that, one of the two top guys in charge, then became the U.S. president. Now, that's a president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
You
president.
don't get that anymore.
I'm not sure we have that right now.
No, right.
No.
Yeah. Looking for a unique name to give your baby that would help them stand out in a crowd?
No, it's already
Here,
screwed
I
up.
got the horn.
I absolutely am, John.
Get Duluth ready.
The sky is nearly the limit, but there are 10 offensive and confusing names that
Don't
have been.
foghorn each one. Wait till the end for your applause.
These have all been found unlawful in parts of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you ready?
We're a podcast. You can do it.
These are really, over the top. So these have been banned in not the entire country, but the states have said, no, you can't put that on your birth certificate. First one seems obvious, Jesus Christ. You're not going to name your kid Jesus Christ.
You really got high expectations of your son if you name him Jesus Christ.
Santa Claus. Well, I don't know why you can't use that. That seems like it'd be okay, but you can't. Did you know you cannot name in most states your kid after royalty? Although I have seen that. King, Queen, or Majesty are all.
Why not just go with Rex, which means king?
You know what? Beautiful. Okay. Adolf Hitler. If you're naming your kid Adolf Hitler,
you got bigger problems.
Yeah. Messiah.
No.
The ampersand, the A with the ampersand.
Yep.
Can't name your kid ampersand.
In other words, a symbol.
Yeah. Yes. And this one I had to look up, and I'm still a little vague on why this is not legal. 1069. It represents
fine.
It represents something that didn't seem offensive to me, but I don't know. I don't remember.
What does it represent?
I'm going to look it up.
I looked it up yesterday, so I already forgot.
Is it a bedroom
Sounds
maneuver?
like an IRS form.
In a historical context,
Thank you. There you
1069 was a year on the Julian calendar, marking the 69th day of the second millennium and the 10th year of the 1060s decade.
So what? Yeah, I didn't understand.
Let's go to Urban Dictionary.
See, I thought this was going to get way dirtier, like the
Me
C
too.
word. The
Yeah.
C word for both male and female. That's where I thought you were
I
going.
didn't say you were one.
Yeah.
Boy, Joe, you got me watching this Mobland.
Yeah.
Those British sure like that
They
word,
love
don't
the
they?
word. It's in
Yeah.
all British stuff.
It's a
They
great
really
word.
do.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great word. I don't.
Yeah,
I try
it's
not
fun.
to use that word.
It's fun.
We have to take a break.
Well, I had to give this, though, for the names.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, just one big one.
Oh, by the way, we spurred a discussion on YouTube talking about the gliders. First of all, it was Point to Hawk, where they had to climb the cliff. And then the gliders, Joe, and I think I've told you this before, there's a glider on display up at the museum in Granite, is it Granite Falls or Granite?
There is a Granite Falls.
No, the North Dakota border, that one.
Grand Forks.
Grand Forks, thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's time once again to celebrate one of you. Time to celebrate a listener as GLer of the Week, brought to you by Masters Maples. Today we salute Doug Ebert
No way.
of Lakeville, Minnesota.
Father Doug?
Do you know him?
He did my grandmother's funeral. Doug's a great guy and a diehard
You gotta
GLer.
quit giving these gifts to
Yeah.
people
Nah.
we know.
Folks, it's
Inner
relatives,
circle.
friends.
You got
Thank
it.
you, Doug, for your support of Garage Logic. No, that was drawn at random.
Absolutely.
We would have had no idea.
Well, he's a loyal town council member.
Being a faithful member of the town council, along with our warmest personal regards, you'll be getting that tasty $50 gift box. It's actually worth more than that from Masters Maples to enjoy this summer. Tune in every Friday as we salute one of our town council members as GLer of the Week. If you want your chance to win, head to garagelogic.com right now and sign up for an annual town council membership to be added to the list. Doug Ebert of Lakeville.
I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years alive. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Go, Johnny!
Go.
Damn it,
God.
Here's a man who has had a very successful physical.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I don't know about what might be in the blood, but the heart is fantastic.
Spectacular.
It's 4 straight lines right across as though you're driving down a highway. It's unbelievable.
Perfectly mowed lawn.
Must be from all that physical work and staying in shape my whole life.
Thanks to Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad, as I said, whoever the bleep they were. Thank you very much. Don't know who they were, but thanks a lot.
Are you in Mankato?
No, I was in Mankato Wednesday.
I see. I think we have a new state champ in 4A. That would be Champlin beating Bloomington Jefferson.
Yes, they did. I looked it up. Marissa gave up 3 hits. She only struck out 6. But the other team apparently ran out of pitching because they were kind of a sneaked up on everybody. Bloomington Jefferson. Farmington was supposed to be the favorite, and they got knocked off. But I saw Marissa pitch, and she's good, but it's not like, what is she doing out there pitching against this team? The day I saw her, she was, I think they're the 2 seed maybe, and they were playing Egan. And she gave up 8 hits and struck out 4. But Egan ran the bases as though Disco Danny Ford was their base running coach. If the parents were mad at anybody, they should have been mad at the base running because they had chances and then didn't do anything with it. It's she's good, but it's not like all of a sudden. It's not like if you don't know what's going on, you're saying, "Wow." Why is she pitching against?
Is that person a senior? Do we know?
Yes, she is. Oh. She is. She's
but so what you're telling me is you didn't necessarily see a college talent there.
Probably MIC or something like that, but not. And softball. There's no sport where one player has the influence that a pitcher does in fast-pitch softball, and there's a lot of them. We had one that day I was there, Jessica Booz. I love people who have the last name Booz because there's hundreds of them out there in the Minnesota hinterlands, right? Thousands of them. Jessica Booz from Rocori, that's Cold Spring.
Mm-hmm.
She pitched 14 innings to beat Becker 2-1 on an unearned run. I saw the kid from Rocori drop the pop-up to let him tie the game in the 7th. And then she came back and pitched a 7-inning shutout. So she pitched 21 innings that day within about 4 hours and gave up 1 run. So the pitching is what determines it. But this Champlin team, I want to tell you, is really good. They make all the plays, and that's a big thing in softball too. When you get them out, when you get them and hit a ground ball to short, throw it to first and get them out, and that'll help a lot too.
Pat, I almost stayed up to watch the overtime of the Edmonton, Florida game. Game 1 in Edmonton went into overtime.
Yeah,
and the TV did one of those radar. What checks do TV stations do? Where they
an EAS test?
I think they did an EAS test, and you didn't see the winning goal scored with 30 seconds left. Or maybe...
Really?
Wait a minute, John, you said you did see it.
I did see it, yes.
Well, it was written in the paper that people missed it because of something on the TV.
You're kidding.
No.
The Twins
wouldn't have been very popular up in Edmonton.
No.
Well, I know the Twins ran one during the radio broadcast the other night when I was driving home from our baseball game.
Yeah.
Middle of the inning.
Are they warnings that there's a thunderstorm, or are they just tests?
This one was just a test, the one I heard.
They're tests in case the Russians are coming.
Yes.
Hide or something like that. Yeah, do that at 3 a.m. when nobody's listening.
Yeah.
To anything.
Did you see
Indiana beat the OKCs in the last seconds.
Wow.
And then here's my problem. I'm glad I don't have to invest time in this series because I can't take it. About 4 timeouts with 0.03 seconds left on the clock. Goodbye. See you later.
We need fewer timeouts. There's no two ways about that. We should be more like hockey. You get one a period or something.
I don't know.
Did you guys see there was a viral video that happened? It was a rodeo in the Edmonton area, and everything went to a stop, and they pulled out a TV, or they had a TV there so they could watch the overtime of the Edmonton game.
Draisaitl got the winner.
Yep.
By the way, the Edmonton rodeo is huge.
Oh yeah,
is it really?
That's a big deal.
It's huge up there.
Same as in Calgary, isn't it? The Stampede, the Calgary Stampede.
Yeah, right. Yes, that's right. That's the summer one. I think this one might be. I don't know when this one's held. Hey, Johnny, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
The original Ghost Riders in the Sky hit. Who made it a hit?
Wasn't it Frankie Lane or somebody like that? I can certainly look it up.
I just looked it up. It was like some guy, Stan Jones, in 1948 or something. But I was wondering when I was a kid who was singing it. Because I just heard a country version of it that sucked.
And did you find out who that was?
I don't know. It was on Outlaw Country, but it's a modern version. Some guy trying to do a modern version of Ghost Riders in the Sky. Screwed it up, buddy.
Yeah, there's been a million versions. In fact, the Outlaws had a huge hit with it in the 70s on the rock charts.
Didn't Sourdough Slim do it for us?
Vaughn Monroe was the most successful version, 1949.
Really? Wasn't he like a hit parade singer or something?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's one reason that I'm kind of a screwed up individual.
Why is
I
that?
had to watch Hit Parade every Saturday night for my entire youth, from maybe 8 years old to 14. And having 4 singers sing the same songs every week, but somebody different would sing them, it was very, very upsetting. It threw me off my game.
Pat, I'm seeing a group by the name of Sons of the Pioneers that are singing the Ghost Riders in the Sky version that you...
Wasn't that Roy Rogers' outfit or Gene Autry's or one of those?
It wasn't Autry's. I don't think it was either one of them, but it was the same era and the same kind of thing. They made movies.
They would
Sons
get them
of
in
the
the movie
Pioneers.
once in a while.
They would, yes.
All of a sudden, they'd go out and shoot a few bad guys, and then they'd be singing.
Yep, exactly.
They'd be in the main street, walking down Main Street singing. What the hell happened here?
All I can say is, Oi, the way Glenn Miller played.
Songs that made the hit parade.
Are you going to the ballpark tonight?
No, but I am going to go tomorrow afternoon. I think I'm taking today off. I'm not going. I got
Better decide it's 1:20.
So when our guy Jim Marshall died, right?
Yes.
Well, it was great. Was he one of the guys that taped you to the goalpost? No, he was still there. You covered him.
Yeah, I did. He almost killed me. Threw a football at my head and missed me by a quarter inch.
See, he was very accurate.
Yeah.
He was trying
That ball was thrown at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But I think it was just playfulness.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
I forgot about the goalpost.
When the Super Bowl was here in 18, I went out. They wanted a column on Jim Marshall, right? So I went out and sat with him for 2 hours, and he had this little tiny TV then, and he'd been in that chair a long, man, he fit perfectly in that chair. And he just BS for 2 hours. So I wrote the column, I came back, and the editor didn't want that. He wanted Jim talking about the 4 Super Bowl losses, right? Mm-hmm. Which I also had. So I rewrote it. So then I gave that column to our website at 1500 ESPN, but when they changed the website, it disappeared.
Oh,
it
no.
went into the ether. Nobody could find it. My friend Sean Fury found it when Jim died, some damn place, some way out in the ether. So we're going to run it this weekend. It's great.
What's the taken to the goalpost? I didn't. That skipped over me.
When you got taped to the goalpost.
I never got taped to the goalpost.
I thought you got taped to something.
No.
Did they tape you?
No, I never got taped. As far as I remember, I never got taped.
Oh.
I think he's just blacked it out of his memory.
Exactly.
Yes.
Pat, why didn't with 270 consecutive games, why didn't he get to the Hall of Fame?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I think the reason he didn't get in the Hall of Fame is that for 20 years, Sid would scream at the other selectors and tell them what a bunch of jackasses they were for not having Jim Marshall in the Hall of Fame.
Got it.
I think Sidney's PR work was the worst thing that ever happened to him because his PR was abusing the other selectors.
See, I thought Sid could be the one who got him in.
Well, Sid was supposed to get him in,
right?
But then he'd basically scream at all these guys for not getting him in, and they all hated Sid, so they wouldn't vote for Jim Marshall.
Right?
No, they're going to be okay.
But when some of these other guys, when they got Mick Tingelhoff in, I thought for sure Marshall would be next. We thought he'd get in 18 because the Super Bowl was here and they could make the announcement.
Oh, sure.
The Saturday before, but nope, he didn't. He didn't make the Veterans Committee list. So
why don't I talk to you Monday in person?
I will be there.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. See you, Pat.
See you, bro.
Before we break away here, I want to just mention Bugs Begone one more time here on GL this afternoon. Now, this stuff is so good that it's worth a special trip to the store just to stock some in right now. And by that, I mean drop whatever you're doing and get yourself some Bugs Begone. It removes dried-on bugs, big squishy bugs with the yellow oozing goo, any kind of organic crud, algae, mildew, brake dust, road grime, anything you can dream up that's organic. We've discussed the standard operating procedure for use. You spray it on, wait a few minutes, and wash it off. But keep in mind, it's also a great pre-soak before a wash while you're waiting in line at the car wash. And it works on pretty much everything, RVs, campers, boats, motorbikes, lawn equipment, and something we hadn't considered until recently, that sink grime that you get in the kitchen and on the bath. Just spray it on, wait a couple minutes, wash it off, and it's safe on everything. Vehicle paint, clear coat, gel coat, everything. It's a water-activated formula and doesn't contain any harsh chemicals or odors. And like other Seafoam products, it works better than anything else on the shelf. It's the best, and it's no surprise that it comes from our friends at Seafoam. And I want you to stay tuned through this break because when we get back, you're going to get a special Gumption County traffic report.
scramble.
It is the scramble, and once again, it's brought to us by our good friends at ProfessionalTurf.com. Thank you, GLers, for another successful campaign with ProTurf.
Yeah, it was a wonderful spring, and thanks for signing up with ProTurf.com. Dave, the owner, is a hell of a GLer, and he really appreciates the business. Now, before we get to what really matters, I just want to do a special traffic report for those of you headed, maybe I'm going to say northbound 169 towards Mille Lacs or points further north. And you may have got some information earlier in the day. That information probably not the best information you could get.
God.
And if you're about to leave right now, what I would do is hop on northbound 280. You'll see a few brake lights before Energy Park Drive. Not a big deal. Stay patient. Stay the course. Then you're going to get up to northbound 35W where you are going to put your foot into it. I mean, seriously, you're going to be doing 80. It's so wide open there. Hang a left, go up westbound Highway 10 where you will meet no brake lights and no bumpers. It's fast-flowing, friendly, and the happiest drive in town right now. And then once you get onto northbound 169, you're on your own. I couldn't care less. You're out of the metro. You're not my problem. What you don't want to do is take that erroneous advice that some moron gave you earlier. Don't go on westbound 694 because it's ugly between 35W and the river, and then it rejams in Maple Grove at Hemlock, runs ugly up past Weaver.
So, Kenny, what that tells us is you have no problem getting up north and sitting in the rain at your cabin.
Yeah. And your original plans were probably the best plans.
I'm very confused.
Just disregard everything and go with your original plans because they were pretty damn good, Joe.
Only because they come to us all the way from the Traveling Lyman's, currently in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. It was on this day.
June 6th.
Well, on this day in 1736.
We're going back far.
Yep. On this day.
June 6th.
In 1736. 21 soldiers and voyageurs were killed in a fight when an allied group of Dakota, Ojibwe, and Teton Lakota on an island in Lake of the Woods. The men were part of a post set up by Pierre Gaultier de Varennes, Sieur de la Vérendrye.
Okay.
Some French guy.
Wow, and you're French, too. A nice accent.
On this day,
June 6th.
In 1849, Major Samuel Woods led a group of cavalry from Fort Snelling to map the Red River Valley and select a site for a new fort. Captain John Pope drew the map. Pope would later lead the Union Army to defeat at Second Manassas in the Civil War, after which he returned to Minnesota to oversee federal forces during the U.S. Dakota War of 1862, and from whom I gather we get Pope County.
Huh.
That would be my guess.
Oh, not after the Pope.
On this day,
June 6th.
In 1877, the Minneapolis Baseball Association was organized, and 2 days later, the team played Fairbanks of Chicago, winning 4-3.
Neat.
Close game.
On this day,
June 6th.
in 1889, the University of Minnesota Law School graduated its first class, a total of 3 men. The following year's graduates numbered 45.
All right. Top 3 in my class. Or I was third in my class.
Come on.
Yeah.
On this day,
June 6th.
in 1910, paper milling in International Falls began as 18 tons of newsprint were manufactured.
Seriously?
That's right. Paper production remains a major business of the city today.
Give me a break on this. Are you what?
And finally, on this day, in 1945, in a horrifying multiple murder, Robert Doan of Matoa clubbed to death his wife and 3 of his 4 children.
Oh, my God.
He also set fire to the house, killing the remaining child. Doan had lost his temper after being fired from his job as a bulldoze operator at the Duluth-Williamson-Johnson Municipal Airport and then getting into an argument with his wife.
Oh, I bet she was a little upset.
His first trial closed with a 9-3 deadlock because, according to the defense, Doan had signed a confession under extreme duress, and he later denied the murders during the trial. At a second trial, Doan was sentenced to life for second-degree murder.
What year was this?
1945. Wow.
He's dead, okay.
And on this day in sports disappointment history,
June 6th.
It was on this day,
June 6th.
in 1960, that the Vikings joined the NFL.
Officially.
Should I just read the ones that are disappointing?
Well, yeah, that's what I thought it was labeled.
All right. On this day,
June 6th.
in 1990, Norm Green bought 51% of the North Stars. That was disappointing.
Wait a minute.
There's another
Read that
Tim
again.
Belcher one in here, too, but I don't want to do that.
That was yesterday.
I know. Well, this one today, in 1983, he told the Twins beforehand that he's going to ask for $125,000 minimum signing bonus.
So they were cheap back then, too.
And that was before money. That was, Calvin didn't have that kind of money, as far as you know.
Right.
Dang.
Thank you, GLers.
Thank you, GLers. Oh, also, by the way, Father Doug Ebert was listening while Joe read his name. He goes,
good.
I hope I don't get excommunicated.
I hope he doesn't either.
You're good, Padre.
I wouldn't go around bragging. Father.
It's like when we have a candidate on, they're going to lose the election.
Tell him you've never heard of us, but you get the syrup anyway.
That's right, mastersmaples.com. So sign up right now for the town council and upgrade that membership at garagelogic.com. And as long as you're there, sign up for the daily newsletter. That's right, become a daily logician where you get the recent episode of the podcast sent right to your inbox each and every day. You can also follow us along on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and search for Garage Logic on YouTube. That's right, you can watch the show live each and every single day. Just search Garage Logic on our YouTube channel and join the thousands of GLers that are interacting with the show live each and every single day. And oh, by the way, yeah, it's free. Just search us for What? Yeah, okay, that's enough talking.
All right, everybody, it's Fun Friday.
Where are you heading, Governor?
I don't know. Why don't you ask me?